Welcome back to another edition of my video blog here on rawvegas.tv. I recently got back from Europe. As I spoke to you the last time, I said I was going to take some trips over for some tournaments, and I was going to go to Cannes, Barcelona, World Series of Poker, London, some other events in London, but I had to come back. A good friend of mine was getting married this weekend on the 13th, Benny Yolshami. His family owns the jewelers of Las Vegas and pretty much every jewelry store you see in the casinos, Rocks and Lior and all those stores. And they outfit me, and when you see me wearing a lot of diamonds on Poker After Dark and shows, they usually hook me up with those. So I came back from Europe for his wedding, but let me rewind a bit and talk about what I did before that. I left Vegas and went to Cannes for the Partouche Poker Tour, which is a great tournament. I think it's about 8,000 euro or 8,000 euro buy-in, which is almost 12,000. It's in Cannes, hosted by the Partouche Poker Tour at the Palm Casino. It's one of the best tournaments I've ever played. I mean, the structure is unbelievable. It's the slowest structure I've seen. They give you 30,000 in chips, and the players are let's just call them nice. I mean, they really want you to have their chips. They want to take care of you. So it was a great tournament. I went out there with Joe Cassidy and Anad Medic and Jean Robert, and we played the event. I made it pretty deep. Me and Mike Mattisau are the only Americans to make the third day. I was near the chip lead after the first day. Finished the second day with less chips than I started the first day with, but due to the wonderful structure, I still had plenty of chips to function with. And on the beginning of the third day, about 10 minutes in, I picked up two kings, and a kid who was really aggressive had been raising a lot, raised under the gun, and I thought for a while and re-raised him pretty good amount. And a kid who, unfortunately for me, the day had only been going for 10 minutes, so it was a guy I didn't know much about how he plays and hadn't seen him play. I mean, he seemed like he hadn't played a hand and been pretty tight, but like I said, we'd only been playing 10 minutes, one orbit or so. He thought for a while and pretty much moved all in. I mean, he raised enough to where he committed himself. And the under the gun raiser, the aggressive kid who most likely didn't have much, folded pretty quickly. And the thought crossed my mind that I kind of ran into aces, but I think because of the second day I was so carded, I was just salivating for a hand. I saw kings, and I actually didn't call right away or didn't put the rest of the money on the right. I thought for a little bit, looked at the guy next to me, and I just had this gross feeling that I ran into aces, but I was like, I'm not really going to lay these kings down here. I mean, I have a reputation of being pretty aggressive, and people come over the top of me a lot. And I said, maybe there's a chance he has ace-king and he's overplaying it, or even has two queens and he just can't fold them. And I put the money in, and sure enough, he had aces, and I didn't hit a king, and I was crippled. Fought back for about another hour, and then finally picked up ace-queen when I had about, I had about 8 big blinds and moved all in, and a guy behind me had aces, so I was out of the tournament, just short of the money. That's the thing, I played for 3 days, but the structure was so deep that it still wasn't even the money. I finished at about 100th out of maybe over 500, 520, I think, players, and I think they paid 60 or 70, so just missed the money, was heartbroken, disappointed. Mattisau himself says he blew up right beforehand after he had given me a speech about what not to do. He did it, so I felt bad for him, and I went back to his room, and we sat around sulking together. Kicked back, played some Magic Online to kind of get over it. Unlike most people, I can't play poker after I get knocked out of a big event. It just takes too much out of me, and I really don't think I will be able to focus and play well. Mattisau jumped right on the online poker I was playing. So I played a little Magic Online, got talked into, decided if I wanted to play Barcelona or not. I was originally planning on going to Barcelona for the EPT if I didn't make the 4th day, and I busted out just in time, unfortunately, to be able to make the Barcelona, but I was like, I can't go, my heart's not in it. And Mikey gave me a pep talk, pumped me up, got me excited about it again. And he said, hey man, besides calling, with those kings, which you could have laid down, but most people wouldn't, you played a great tournament, you're playing well, you might as well go to Barcelona and give it a shot. So he, he talked me into it. We hopped on a flight that night, or he didn't, he had to go to Cyprus, but I had to hop on a flight that night with Nanad and Joe Cassidy and John Robert. The next night we went to Barcelona. I stayed in a 6 suite that Noah Schwartz had. He got upgraded with Robert Mizrachi and Noah Schwartz. And Noah Boken came over, and we all hung out. And I woke up the next day and had a great day at day 1 of Barcelona. Got near the chip lead pretty quickly. Finished, I lost some chips at the end of the day, had some tough hands go down. Finished, above average, so I was happy. Started day 2 with a pretty, tough table, but I was able to just pick up some hands. And actually I wasn't average, I started with 30, but I got to average very quickly. I got to about 80,000 without ever really getting all in, just chipping away. And then I just made a blunder at my second table midway through the day, and they were dropping like flies, so we're actually close to the money again. I think I finished about 30 people out of the money again, and I went with my read. There was a guy who raised, and I called, and another guy called. He made it 3,000. Another guy called actually made it 2,500. Another guy called 2,500. I was a big blind of 500, 1,000. And I had the queen 9 of hearts, so I called an extra 1,500, pretty standard call. And the flop was queen high, queen 6-3 with 2 hearts, which is a pretty big flop for my hand. And I decided, I checked. The gentleman who raised followed through. The next guy called, and I called, I believe. No, actually, the next guy folded, I just called. And the turn came an offsuit 10. I checked again, and the guy fired again, and it seemed, his bet, my read was kind of like, I couldn't figure out much about it, but it didn't seem like he was too strong on the flop, but maybe he just, he tricked me pretty good. So I called him again, and the river came a blank, not a heart or a 9. And I checked again, and he put me all in. He had a ton of chips and had been playing pretty aggressive, and I'd seen him make some crazy moves earlier in the day. So I had to, I knew it was in his playbook. It was possible that he could fire a third bullet bluffing and not putting me on that strong of a hand or being able to call. And I felt he could have even put me on a heart draw and figured that, all I had was a heart draw, but he had I could have had an ace-high heart draw, and he just had, king high or something like that. I pretty much convinced myself that he had a hand I could beat, which I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have taken that chance. I called. He had queen 10 and turn 2 pair. I don't think if I'd have moved in on the flop, he would have gone anywhere. He probably would have put me on a flush draw and called the top pair and hit, but you never know. But nevertheless, I was disappointed because I didn't have to take such a risk. I could have just let him have the pot and waited for a better spot. So I was disappointed in myself. I got the hell out of there pretty quickly the next day on the first flight home. Came home, hung out with my girlfriend a little bit, went to the wedding. And then on Monday, I'm out of here Monday morning to London. I'm taking my girlfriend with me this time. She hasn't gone with me on a trip, and we've gone for quite some time. I'm leaving on Monday, and I'm not going to be back till probably the 11th of October because I'm playing some events, which I'll talk about in a minute, quite a few events. So she's going to come with me. Unless I do well on the WSOP main event. If that goes well, then I'm going to leave Tuesday because it's a 2-day tournament, and the second day is on Monday. If I make the second day of that, then I'll change my flight and leave on Tuesday. And either way, I'm going to land on either Tuesday or Wednesday. On Wednesday when I get there, there's a 5,000-pound pot limit Omaha tournament at the World Series of Poker Europe in London. So I'm really excited about that. I've done well in the PLO tournaments at the World Series this year, last year, and I made it pretty deep last year in the one here I'm going to play in at the World Series Europe. I got eliminated pretty close to the money by the guy that ended up winning, and I took kind of a sick beat. So I'm excited about that tournament, very looking forward to it. And then after that, I've got a couple days off, unless I make the final table of that, until the main event of the World Series of Poker Europe starts. No limit hold'em, 10,000-pound buy-in, which is about, I think, $16,000. I'm really excited about that because, like I said, I think I'm playing well, as witnessed by, I got close and could have laid down those kings. A lot of people say they shouldn't, they couldn't, but I really think I could have if I was playing on the top. And made one pretty crucial mistake in Barcelona that I want to make up for. So I expect big things out of myself in the main event in Europe at the World Series of Poker. And if that doesn't go well, or even if it does afterward, I'm playing the EPT London, the European Poker Tour. That's going to be, I think, at a different hotel or a different casino. And that starts on October 1st, or some of the events. The main event is, I think, on the 4th or 3rd. I'm going to play that event. And then I'm really excited because after that, there's the PKR Heads Up Tournament that I'm invited to be in. It's kind of invitation, 32 spots, 6 online qualifiers, and 26 invited players. Tom Dwan's playing, Theo Tran, I'm trying to think who else, Zygmunt. A lot of the big online guys are playing, Nam Lee, I believe, and JC Tran. So it's going to be a tough field that I'm looking forward to. They've already done the draw, and I get to play an online qualifier first round, which, obviously I'd rather play an online qualifier than play somebody like Antonio Esfandiari or Tom Dwan first round. But when you play an online qualifier, it's somebody who I don't really know how they play. I don't really know anything about them, and they're going to know a lot about how I play. So it's not going to be the cakewalk people think it is, but I'm looking forward to that too because I really enjoy heads-up tournaments lately. So once all that's done, I'm flying back on the 11th to the States. I'm going to be here for about 1 day, and then I'm off to Austin for the Pro Tour, Magic Pro Tour. There's a big Magic tournament in Austin, Texas that following weekend. I'm going to go out like I did in Hawaii before the World Series with a couple guys. I think we're going to get a house and practice, but mainly just kind of hang out and kick around and have fun in Austin and get ready for the tournament that happens that weekend, the Magic tournament. So it's got a fun month coming up, starting with the fight tomorrow all the way through the end of October with that tournament, and then the Bellagio starts the I think the Dole Brunson North American Poker Classic, one of the WPT events, but you'll hear from me before then, and we'll see. Hopefully things went well in London and I came back with a ton of cash.